All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to part two of the the Femboy Files. This time we're going to be doing the Chungus interview. This interview is sponsored to you by John's Box. You could go ahead and find them on Spotify. Just look up John's Box. Now, let's get into some background about Mr. Chungus here. So this is the guy, if you recall from the last episode of Femboy Files, he's the guy that forgot the personal lubricant. He wanted to go about kissing Goose every single time he opened his mouth. And when I started to ask him questions such as, like, if he was part of the Femboy industrial complex and whatnot, he threatened to Femboy me. So the goal of this interview is to figure out, who is this half-dead nine guy? Who is Big Thunder, And we're going to get down to the bottom of whether or not he's part of the conspiracy, part of the issues that we were having here with Goose being transformed into a femboy. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to bring him onto the stream here. Give me 1 second. Hello, Mr. Chungus?
Hello.
Okay, I have you a little bit loud. Give me 1 second as I mess with your audio.
Very well.
Right about there. Okay, can you say something?
Something.
Okay, that's good enough. Okay. Howdy. Good evening, Mr. Chungus. Again, I'd like to say it's an absolute pleasure to have you around here. I understand that as a renowned, prolific male entertainer, that you're kind of a busy man. It can kind of get hard to get a hold of you. So I appreciate you sparing a couple minutes of your time to come talk to us and to my stream.
Yeah, absolutely. And please, call me Big Thunder.
Okay, Big Thunder, that's your stage name, right?
It is.
Okay.
And many more people will know me by that.
Okay, funnily enough, I wanted to start off this interview by having the audience get to kind of know you a little bit. So you're very well renowned for your ability to kind of captivate people and to put yourself out there and be desirable to those people. Now, to be as desirable as you really are is kind of like a rare skill and attribute. So I kind of wanted to ask, how did it happen that you, as Big Thunder, got to become the icon that you are now? And how do you win over people you interact with?
Well, actually, I'm glad you've asked, because that is a funny story. It actually started way back in my college days.
Okay.
So, back in college, as a poor college boy myself, you have to make money somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
okay.
It just so happens that I had a natural talent for being, well, let's just put it as an exotic dancer.
Okay. An exotic dancer, huh?
Yeah. And
okay.
That is when I actually started my signature move, the thunderclap.
The thunderclap. Are you able to talk about that on stream, or is that like a TOS issue with, Twitch and YouTube?
Unfortunately, you will not only be demonetized, you will be banned from everything.
Oh, shit. So you can't talk about the thunderclap on stream?
It is that spicy.
All right, Big Thunder. I see you. What would you say is the most compelling part of your personality? How is it you go about winning people over? Is it just your physical attributes? Is it the specific way that you interact with people? You kind of got that, how do I put this nicely? You play hard to get sort of, or something like that? What is it?
I don't actually know.
You don't actually know?
I just happen to be like a people magnet. People just kind of gather around, see what I have to offer. And then when they do, they always stay.
You got it. And,
they always stay.
For any of you viewers out there, as somebody who's seen Big Thunder in person, it's definitely his physical attributes. Okay. Anyway. Now, me personally, we're gonna go on to the next question. So I haven't seen too many of your streams, but being kind of part of the smaller streaming community that we have going on, how much of your kind of compelling aspects are you able to show on stream? I imagine with Twitch working against content involving adult entertainment, things are kind of hard for you to stream. So I just wonder, how do you go about winning people for your stream, I guess?
That is a great question. So, currently, yes, you are right. It is very difficult to show off some of the more daring sides of some streamers. But I did want to say that the community that I am in is a great one. Starting it off with that. You guys are great. I really appreciate you guys for having me. But I'm currently working my way up the ladder. And once we get to a certain point, we're going to do some hot tub streams.
Oh, some hot tub
you
streams?
heard it. You heard it here first.
Okay, hot tub streams. That sounds awesome, man.
But other than that, I mean, it's a little my schedule is a little dicey right now. But I've been doing a playthrough of Remnant 2, which is a very fun Souls-like. And on the weekends, I do retro gaming.
Okay.
Taking it back to some old Nintendo games so far.
Very nice, very nice. What would you? What's your stream handle, or what's your name for people to look up so I can drop it in chat?
I am HalfDead99 on Twitch right now.
Any space or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. All right, I just dropped that in chat. So if any of you want to check it out, it's half. Oh, hang on, I misspelled it. God damn it! All right, just dropped it into the chats now. I don't know what the terms of service are for your personal like OF content, so I won't post that for you. But feel free to look up Big Thunder on some of your more spicy platforms. I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Unfortunately, that is actually locked behind several different like Patreon-esque accounts.
Are you saying there's like layers to get to your spicy stuff? Like people have to work for it?
There are layers.
Really? See, like
yes.
there's a chatter here. He's saying, "Show us the thunderclap."
Unfortunately, they may perish at the thought. Even the thoughts of the thunder.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's probably be a hell of a way to die, but to you viewer out here asking for the thunderclap, I guess my recommendation to you is it sounds like there's some like esoteric, method of obtaining that sort of stuff. It just sounds like it'll jump through a bunch of hoops. Probably have, a couple $1,000s under your belt to kind of pay, to get through all the Patreon loops and whatnot. Anyway, moving on to the next question I have for you. So prior to this interview, I kind of linked you towards a chart for you to kind of take a look at. This is every group has a blank chart kind of describing what the stereotypical friend group is. Did you happen to do it? And can the chat see it?
I did see that yours was very well made. So I did in fact do it. And yes, we can look at it. But I just added my own take on like each person underneath.
Okay, sounds good. So we're looking at the chart right now. I see for Bear, he has the real one. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull my chart up so we can do a side-by-side comparison here real quick.
Yeah. Bear is he is the real one.
He's a real one. Very nice. Let me move this aside. Sorry, chat, for not having this ready earlier. Okay, so we have Bear's the real one. Very nice. I marked myself as shit poster. I see that you moved me as a conspiracy theory person. I appreciate conspiracy theory.
Misread
the person. Damn.
Yes.
Well,
you are a conspiracy theory.
I am the conspiracy theory. Am I my own conspiracy in myself?
Pretty much.
Wait, what are you insinuating here? Because I guess there's like multiple ways to interpret this.
You know how like Bigfoot is a thing?
Yeah.
Or how some people don't think Bigfoot is a thing?
Yeah.
You are Bigfoot in this scenario.
Okay. I like that. I see Shaq as just the usual suspect. Okay.
if something's going down, he's like the first one who gets blamed.
Really? So
Have you not noticed that?
interesting. Now, when I was doing the investigation, I don't know if did you happen to see the last episode of Femboy Files?
I did see the majority of it, yes.
Okay, so I guess if you watched like the later half of it, I didn't suspect Shaq to be a suspect at the beginning. Now, we have another question that's kind of more geared towards, discussing the Femboy Files more. So we'll probably review that later, but I like that he's the usual suspect. So moving on down, John Paul, otherwise known as John's Box, who's going to be our sponsor for today. I see that your lawyer asked you not to finish this joke. Would you like to tell a joke to the stream, hazarding that he may be watching, or no?
So, my lawyer asked me not to finish the joke because his lawyers got in contact with him. And can we just move on?
Okay.
That guy
I'm
scares
sorry.
me.
I'm sorry. I forgot. Like, it can be really difficult to talk about a cult, especially one as powerful as a black box cult. I know he has a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of influence in this group. So we'll go ahead and move on. I like that T-Rex is Spooderman. Are you saying that for Gleroy, who is also, by the way, a suspect, are you saying that you get confused with the furry a lot? Why is that?
It goes both ways. You guys call me him, and you call him me, and it happens constantly.
Do you think that
I don't see that
anything to it?
I don't see that we're that much alike, other than maybe our voices sound similar at sometimes. But yeah, I don't see how we're that much alike.
Okay. So I guess you don't see how you have a resemblance with the furry. You just kind of other people mix you up. Okay.
No,
Okay,
I don't see how that works.
I mean, like, you can't both be a furry and a prolific male entertainer because if you're a furry, it's kind of a really niche thing that doesn't really work in that space. If you want to be more broad appeal, so
You'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised. What do you mean?
I'll tell you when you're older.
Oh, we don't get to hear Dalton say it. All right, moving on.
I have some friends in that little circle there, and people have some very interesting tastes.
Would those friends be Gleroy? Because we do know. Hang on, that he. 1 second. We do know that Gleroy did in fact jack off to Selendis, who is currently on screen right now. So furries do indeed jack off to some strange stuff. So I don't know how much money's in this industry, but I mean you may know better than me as somebody who's like seen as more furry adjacent, as you said yourself. So anyway, moving on to Goose. Now Goose is kind of the victim of this conspiracy. You mark him down as an honest homie. Do you want to tell me what you think of Goose and like how he kind of fits in with the rest of all the gang?
Honestly, he fits in very nicely with the group.
Very nice.
He brings things to the table that some of us lack.
I'd have to say, like, when I was trying to figure out, when I was making my list, I was trying to figure out like what would I label Goose, right? And it just so happened that while I was setting stuff up for the first Femboy Files episode, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You got a pretty accurate. Goose is great impressionist.
True.
But his character, like the content of his personality,
yeah, the strength of his character, I suppose.
Yeah, the strength of his character is more than that.
I agree, but it's really hard to like express how it would fit in this like
it
frame.
is. It's very hard to express.
It just so happened that like it was fresh on my mind because there was a gaming stream we did the night before where we were playing Content Warning, and this guy whipped out President Goose, masterful impression. I don't know if you saw some of his President Goose or some of his Joe Obama, but He does some excellent work with his impressions. So that was fresh in my mind. That's how he kind of got the Master Impressionist title. But
I did not see any of that, but I have heard his French impression.
his French impression. His French impression is really good.
When he plays Bretonia, yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
You have to hear President Goose sometime. President Goose is like completely off the walls, perfect impression of Donald Trump. It's absolutely nuts. Okay.
I'll have to ask him about it sometime.
I don't know what happened. Okay, so like 2016, a little bit of a rant. 2016, 2020, Trump had like a different voice than he has now. And like Goose just like mastered the current voice of President Donald Trump now. But I do know what you mean when you say he's an honest homie and that there's like more to his character than just being a master impressionist. I just wouldn't know how to like qualify that for something like this. So I can respect that you put an honest homie as kind of just like a placeholder for like, strong personality, decent dude, right? Okay.
Indeed.
So moving on to Femboy, right? You have It's Shack. Can I ask what you mean by It's Shack under Femboy? If you wouldn't mind elaborating on that.
I would mind actually, because we'll get into it later.
You want to skip that for now, huh?
We are. I did happen to notice that you skipped over my profile.
Okay, very nice. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Let's go back to your profile then. Okay, so going back to how you describe yourself, nothing but dad jokes and bad puns. Would you like to tell a dad joke or a bad pun just so that the way the chat can kind of see where you're coming from?
I mean,
not to put you on the spot, but
just like with any joke, it becomes a dad joke when it becomes apparent.
Very cool. Right, very nice. Would you have any other inputs on how you labeled yourself?
Not really.
Not really.
I'm gonna hit you with some really bad jokes later on, I'm sure.
Okay. If you come up with one, feel free to just spit it out. We'll pause what we're doing. We'll get one of your legendary dad jokes.
It's been a very spicy day today. So.
Very spicy day. Have you been serving many top tier clients?
You could say that.
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to hop on here for an interview. Okay.
Anytime for you, my friend. Anytime.
Very good. All right, very good. So the next question I had is kind of one that I kind of already asked, which was what kind of impressions have you seen from Goose? And the reason I ask this is I don't know if you're conspiring to turn Goose into a femboy, okay? But if you are, which just to be clear with you, I suspect that you are, maybe you're just not aware that we'd be losing kind of the iconic characters represented by Mr. Goose. So,
as I understand this, you are accusing me of being part of the Femboy conspiracy.
Yeah, the conspiracy to turn Goose into a femboy. I suspect that you may be part of this conspiracy.
I have to say that you are in fact wrong in that. Okay. I am not trying to turn him into a femboy. I'm doing much worse than turning him into a weeb.
Okay, so you actually think you're doing something worse than this?
Oh, it's not worse, but it sounded better if I said that.
Okay. Well, I mean, so you're denying the allegations kind of up front, right?
I am in fact denying the allegations.
Okay.
I know I have said some things that sounds very suspicious, but if you look back, I never directly said that I was turning him into one. I just said that I do believe there is a conspiracy to do so.
Okay, and we'll talk about more about what your thoughts are on the conspiracy here in a second. But looking at the chart that we have up here on screen, would you say that a femboy is necessary?
Absolutely not.
Okay, you think so? Okay.
our group has hit a level that having one would just muddle the mixture.
Fairness.
Right
Okay.
now, we are a fine wine mixed together that has been aged to perfection. If we add in a little extra chemicals, all of a sudden that fine wine is like modern day wine with a hint of radiation in everything, unlike ancient wine, which does not.
Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. So you don't think that one was required? Because like here in my notes here, I was gonna say if one would be required, I was gonna be like, okay, do we have like, yeah, what exactly?
It's Shaq. It's Shaq.
I was gonna say, could we find like another one, or maybe there could be like an application process that we could do on our streams or something like that, where people could apply to fulfill that role, you know? But
Bro just doesn't know it yet, but he's right there on the edge.
okay, he's right there on the edge. You think Shaq's gonna be the convert in this? Okay,
I don't just think so. It's called pattern recognition, my friend.
very nice, very nice. All right, moving on.
And the fact that he's already admitted to it.
There's some soft admission there. There's some soft admission there. We'll get to that here in a second. Let's move on to the next question I have. So, at this point, you're kind of aware of the investigation. So, hang on, somebody's posting something. Okay, sorry. So at this point, you're aware of the investigation. What do you think of the conspiracy? Do you believe in it? Do you think that Goose is at risk of becoming a femboy? Do you think that this investigation is worthwhile?
Okay, hold on. I missed the question.
Okay, yeah, sorry. So I was asking, what do you think of the conspiracy? Do you believe in it? Do you think that Goose is at risk of becoming a femboy? And do you think that this investigation is worthwhile?
I do, in fact, think that this investigation is worthwhile. However, I am doing everything I can behind the scenes to not make it so that he becomes a femboy.
So you're saying that like you're on the he will not pipe us sort of train because actually
I am in fact on the he will not pipe us
train. Okay, I even saw a post from you on our social media that you made a drawing saying he will not pipe us. So I was just going to ask, like,
yes.
Would you consider yourself like an ally of that particular movement? And it sounds like you are, which is kind of which answers kind of one of my other thoughts that I forgot to kind of write down here for the question. So that's very comforting to know that you're like working behind the scenes, keeping this guy masculine, you know.
I am doing my very best. I do have to mention though that the picture he is referring to is a very poorly drawn space marine that I did on a whiteboard very quick.
Let me see if I can pull it up for the chat here. It's just so that way they could see what we're talking about. Okay. While I'm looking for it, going back to kind of the DMs you and I had, I asked you kind of a question that I didn't get a very clear answer to, and that was, would you consider yourself part of the femboy industrial complex? Like, are you part of Big Femboy, would you say?
Can you rephrase the question for me?
Would you say that you are issuing out pink pills to men, like just as like a general thing?
This is a hard one to kind of answer because I have handed out pills, but that's usually at my showings. But I wouldn't exactly say that I am part of the femboy industrial complex. Just as a rule of thumb, if it has complex in the name, it is too complex for me.
Okay, so would you say that this is like a side thing you do then? Like you just do this on the side, you just, you know, turning people into things you desire? Oh, I can't include the image. I can't include the image because it has a real name in it. Otherwise I would.
That's absolutely correct. I am I
Okay,
forgot about that.
you're fine. All right, sorry, Chad. You're not going to see his epic drawing of He Will Not Pipe Us.
No, I do not tend to try and change people into things that I would enjoy, which is a weird phrase. I don't try to. It just kind of happens naturally around me.
Okay. So, would you say that you enjoy femboys then? Kind of going off of your question there, or your answer there?
No,
Sorry.
femboys are gay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hard stance on that. They like me, I don't like them. I mean, what's not to love?
This gets into kind of going back to what your career is. If you say that like femboys are gay, sure, you may not be like a gay person yourself, but as an adult entertainer, do you just like entertain chicks then as a male adult entertainer, or is it like men as well?
Kind of like corn. I do not care how the flash cash flows in, just that it does. Once again, as I had just stated, they tend to like me a lot. I mean, once again, what is there not to love? But I don't show them as much love as they probably would want.
Okay, so
If you catch my drift.
So you'll do business, right? But so you're down to do business with them, but it's just like a purely transactional thing. You're not actually like looking for, you're not actually like really into it, I suppose.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Okay, I mean like, as a master entertainer like yourself, I'm sure you can make anyone feel like the center of the world. So I'm sure you do a great job, but like it's just interesting to follow up on your answer there. Okay. Well, the next question I had, I think you already answered, and that was in our conversations, and with what I have on, or with our conversations, you never expressly confirmed that you were a conspirator or did not confirm. And I was going to ask if you would consider yourself a conspirator, so we'll skip that question. Okay, before I pull up something real quick, I'm just going to try. Okay, so in our DMs that we have, you kind of allude to having some sensitive interactions with Goose, okay? Particularly the one on the top left where like it was implied that you forgot some like lubricant or something like that. Would you like to comment on that sort of thing?
I would not.
You would not like to comment.
No matter how I answer this, it will in fact look poorly on both me and Goose.
Interesting. Do you see how that? Okay, so I've really liked everything that you've said at the beginning of the interview up till this point, but can you see how not explaining yourself in this instance kind of makes people think that you may be a little bit more guilty here?
Yes, I can see that. But what I can't see is what you're referring to. I am in on the stream, and everything is blurry as all heck.
Here, let me take a screen cap and send it to you. Let me also. Okay. I just sent it to you on DMs here. So this is the top left is what I'm kind of talking about right now, and this is the more sensitive interactions you apparently had with Mr. Goose that we just like to have. I just want to know if you want to elaborate on what was happening here, or like what you meant when you said these things. If you can.
So if you look at it, it is actually you who brought up that I forgot the loop.
Whoa.
And I was on a little dude, it is right there, plain as day for everyone to see.
Okay.
I had nothing to say about that. However, it was during my villain arc, and we've all said some things during that time frame that we are not proud of.
Okay.
Mostly me.
Yeah. So are you saying like this was back in the past, now it's like 2025, new year, new me sort of thing?
In a manner of speaking, yes. However, as I'm pretty sure we are going to look at here in a bit, everything will become clear. So we'll circle back to this one. I do indeed promise that.
Okay.
What is your next question?
Sounds good. Sounds good. Next question is, it was basically, this next question was just kind of circling back to what did you think of like the last episode of the files? Like, what did you think of the contents? Do you think that anyone else is a conspirator or worth talking to? So I haven't really talked to Tall Goose, otherwise known as T Rexlin, about this as much. I don't know if he's somebody worth talking to. I haven't interviewed Shaq yet. I'm just wondering if you have, any thoughts about, with what you know, anybody should talk to, or like any comments you have about the content thus far.
Yes. So I do have to say, you should definitely hit up Goose. The accused deserves to be able to stand on trial, so to speak.
You mean like the victim should have like a voice, sort of?
Yes.
Okay.
On top of that, you should most certainly talk to Shaq. I mean, it's Shaq. It's definitely Shaq.
He's definitely in the interview schedule for this. It's just that, Shaq could be a little bit of a grumpy guy sometimes. We just got to find like the right time to have him deal with this hooliganery. What did you think of the content, though? Like, what did you think of the last episode? What do you think about the investigation so far?
So as I told you after the stream itself, I most definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely up there. You make a good case when you bring things up.
Okay.
And you are following through on a bunch of leads. I think interviewing us is a great add-on. Getting our voice on and opinions on the matter. I do think that you should scroll a little bit to the right and show the last DMs between us, because everything will become clear.
Wait, what are you implying here?
I'm just saying that I think you should have someone interview you as well.
Whoa, are you? I was meaning to ask this. Are you threatened to femboy me in DMs? I was going to ask you about it, but are you threatening to femboy me right now?
Listen, I'm not going to confirm or deny anything, as my lawyer has told me that I probably shouldn't. However, I do think you should definitely remember that I am Big Thunder, and you shouldn't forget that.
Big Thunder, please don't do this to me. You can't do this to me, Big Thunder. Please.
I do think you should have someone interview you.
Okay.
We do have questions.
Okay, I would like to preface this discussion as like, I'm the chief investigator for this case, so I can't be guilty, okay? That's just how it works. But if somebody would like to ask questions, I would be open to an interview. Would you like to be the person interviewing me? Or are you thinking of another party?
I'm thinking of another party. Maybe
Okay.
Bear.
Okay. Well, the ending sort of like conclusion of these files is that I will present all of this evidence to Bear to make kind of like a judgment and then like a decision, based on what happens after that. Him being the charismatic leader and all. So I'm perfectly fine, bringing that up with him and like talking to him about it. You know, he trusts me on the case. You know, I'm his top investigator. So, okay. I will keep that in mind. So, we're going now to my final question here. Is there anything you would like to see from this investigation? Are there any like final comments you have for me or the audience?
No, I do think that you are in fact on the right track, going down these things. But I feel like there are a few things that you may have overlooked.
Such as?
So, hey, I'm not going to do your job for you. But
this is very
you
cryptic,
should relook.
Mr. Chungus.
You should relook over your evidence there. Not just mine, but everyone else's as well.
Okay, I'll have to examine it.
This may go further than you think.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Like, so for example, when it comes to, you know, T-Rexlin, right? I'm trying to figure out the kind of case on him now. I don't know if you can see this on stream right now. Here, let me clear some stuff up. Do you see this on stream?
Your stream is a few seconds behind.
Okay, let me. I'll DM it to you. What the heck? I can't copy it for some reason. What's going on here? All right, let me. By the time the stream catches up, you may see it.
I do see it now.
Okay, so like, you know, I'm trying to like put together some more pieces here. So, for example, we have T-Rexlin here, whose response to the "I am not a femboy" comment was, you know, an African American man making a kissing face. Okay. I do find that suspicious, and we'll probably look into that. But like, when you say that we're missing anything, I'm trying to think about what he could mean. Is this something you don't want to say like on air? We could talk about it in private.
I think it might be a little bit better that way.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and talk about that in private then. Let me see if chat has anything to say. Okay, Chad is trying to tell me that is not a kissing face. I think that's a kissing face if I had to guess. I can try revisiting that, you know, DM or not DM, but I can revisit that in the group chat. To me, that looks like a kissing face, but okay. Thank you, chatter. Does anyone in chat have any questions for Mr. Chungus, Big Thunder, before I cut the stream? Okay. All right, there's a little bit of a debate, but any questions for Big Thunder? Okay. Another viewer asking to show that thunderclap. Very nice. Again, there's like... They said, what's your favorite clap? I'm going to try to like interpret this question as like, do you like to clap your like cheeks or do you like to clap your like thighs? Like what's your favorite clap here?
Listen, the thunderclap is my favorite clap.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it is too advanced for me to properly articulate.
Or like detail?
Yes.
All right. Listen, viewer, for the answer to that particular question, you may have to go through, you know, his Patreons, you know, whatever other ways to pay. I don't see any other questions, so we'll probably call the stream there, I think. Anyways, Mr. Chungus, Big Thunder, thank you for coming on.
It was a pleasure having me. I'm sure.
Sorry, I was really chatting, but like it was definitely a pleasure having you. Look forward to like booking your services here in the future. But yeah, thank you for coming on. Feel free to tune on in for the next episode of The Files. I think we'll probably interview Shaq or maybe like do a consulting discussion with like T-Rexlin or something like that before we move on to the Bear Report. At some point, we have to figure out how to interview Goose. And like somebody brought up, you know, Goose's brother may want to interview. So we'll look into like making that an option before the bear report. But yeah, feel free to stay tuned in. We'll see what the final conclusions of this investigation are. I think you've cleared your name pretty well. And again, thank you for coming on. I will talk to you later.
Yeah. And